We are
the Sisters of the Holy Fiber. My name is Devin, also the rambunctious guy on Ravelry.
And I'm Heather, known as Tiny Kiwi. So grab your knitting or crochet or whatever you're working on and join us while we craft and chat.
On episode 51.
Wow.
Probably. If I remember correctly.
Question mark?
So, I have not finished anything.
Me neither.
But I have been working on things. And of course, I forgot to go get the book, but I will go get it in a second. I meant to go get it before we started. And the thought went in my brain several times and then went right out again. Oh, there goes the cat.
He's so cute.
So I'm working on Terry's sweater. And this is the back. The back piece is done.
Very nice.
So I'm doing a modified drop shoulder sweater. So a drop, which is not what I was doing before. I was going to do a set-in sleeve. And I was going to have fun doing all the math to figure it out. But the model sweater the sweater I'm using to model on is a drop shouldered sweater. And set-in sleeves are really fitted, and that's not really what the recipient would want. I think the modified drop shoulder is going to work better. So I don't think I ever showed you the sweater I'm modeling it on. It's gray, so I don't know if it's going to come up, but this is the sweater that I'm trying to pretty much just duplicate, but in knitting.
Right.
So it has this short little mock collar. It has a zipper, but I'm going to do a little button band here.
Okay.
And then this is actually the sleeve. Let's see. There we go. So the fabric shape is a little interesting here because it like goes out and then over.
Yeah.
And then this is just a straight seam right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually did some swatches where I did this. I made this shape in knitting. And it just kind of looked a little funny in the knitting stitches. So I abandoned that idea. And then, okay, now I have to go get the book. The Michelle Wang book that I was showing you, Wong.
Yeah.
Michelle Wong, not Wang, Wong. Oh, no, it's not over there. It's somewhere else. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll show everyone this. Hello, everyone. I'm going to show you these cute little snails I got. Let's see if I can actually get him into focus. Probably not.
I want to see your cute... Oh, yes, your snail.
They hold your tea bag tag on the edge of your mug. So it doesn't to the and they come in a whole sorts of different colors. So I'm super stoked about that and have them by my tea things now.
Yay! So, this capsule collection that I told you about last time.
Right.
I was just browsing through it and then I saw, let's go about a better picture. The Hague pattern, Hague. Hague.
You're getting as good as mine.
Here's a nice picture of it, actually. So, the sweater is a drop shoulder construction, but it's so a drop shoulder is really where like the body is just like whoop, it's just a straight rectangle, and then you add sleeves, right?
Right.
So this one, so you're knitting it from the bottom up, and right about when you get here, you start increasing so that it's not just straight up. This part starts to go kind of diagonal. So then when you attach the sleeve is going diagonally down instead of straight out.
Yeah.
Does that
Which
make
I
sense?
like. I like those a lot better. The fit is a little bit more natural. Like you don't have to feel like your arms are out all the time.
Right.
Like for some reason, a lot of business shirts have that cut, and I'm like, unless you're going like this all the time, well, like this, why is that? Especially when it's not a knit fabric and it doesn't drape, I don't get that.
I don't know. But I'm pretty excited
Yeah,
because I think it's going to work out a lot better for the sweater than the set-in sleeves I was going to do.
I agree.
I knit the top increase section like 4 times. Like knit it, no, had to rip it out. Knit it again, no, had to rip it out. Like to get the increases right, like math and this sweater, I don't know what it is, but it is not. I like do the math like a good sewer, like a good knitter, and then I do it, and then it lied.
Yeah, I'm
So,
sorry.
it's all working out. Now that I have figured the front, or that was the back piece, now that I figured that back piece out, the front is going to be a lot easier. Sweater.
Yes.
So, back is knit. I'm very excited that I have a piece that's done.
Very cool.
Then the car had to go into the shop because it's, high mileage. So, and then I wasn't happy with the brakes, so I took it back. I don't think they did the brakes quite. I don't know. And then I was there at the shop for like an hour and a half waiting for them. So I got a lot more done on the front part.
Cool.
So I have worked a lot on it. I've been pretty monogamous. I haven't really been working on anything else. Monogamous knitter. So I don't really have anything else to show, but it's a
That's
lot of knitting.
plenty. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
So, and I think I really want to get this done so I can cast on something else.
Yes, I understand.
But
The
this is kind of taking priority right
the
now.
color looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the color. I keep looking at the name to try and remember. I know it's a Rowan yarn. It's got some bland name like Rowan Superwash Worsted or like something like that. And I think that's why I can't remember it.
Right.
I didn't know it was superwash when I bought it. I just knew it was on sale.
Oh, cool.
That's why I bought it.
Yes.
Because I was like, I can get a sweater quantity on sale. Worst weight yarn. Pretty color. Okay, done.
Yeah.
So I'm not that big a fan of superwash. It's just kind of it's a little crunchy. It's a little crunchy, but I'm still gonna make a
It's
sweater out of it. Clearly,
and you can wash it.
and I can wash it. And then when Terry puts it in the wash on accident, she won't ruin it.
Always good.
So I don't think she would actually do that, but
Well, things sneak in, you know?
that's true. That's true.
Like you forget like you took the shirt and the sweater off at the same time and then the shirt is like covering up the sweater. That's how I lost my favorite green sweater when we went to Scotland. Because I folded it all up so nice and neatly, and the sweater was inside the shirt, and I didn't notice. And I thought I lost it forever. But I was just kind of silly.
I actually did lose one of my sweaters the other day.
Bummer.
So, yeah, well, here's the good news though. Because that night I had left my iPad at work. So we were
Uh-huh.
doing professional development meetings.
Okay.
And so we're at a school site that we're at one of the high schools, and we're there 2 days in a row. So the first day we were there, I left my iPad there on accident in the room.
Scary. Yeah.
So the good part is that I didn't realize it until the morning. So I was only freaked out for 3 hours instead of realizing it that night and being freaked out during time that I could do nothing about it, you know?
Right.
So I got there and I asked one of the custodians to be my hero and unlock the room for me, and it was right there where I had left it. So I got really lucky.
Yeah.
And then that next day, I left my sweater there. So apparently I can't go to the high school and not leave something there.
You poor thing.
So, my brain's everywhere right now.
Yeah.
So, but I'm doing okay. The knitting helps.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then I wanted to see how your couch cushions are. Did you make any more of your cushions?
No, I haven't gotten to any sewing.
Oh,
I haven't felt like dealing with the ironing. It's been too warm.
I feel you.
Like, I just can't. I'm trying to like not run the AC as often, and stick with just the fans. But that means that I don't iron. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah.
I've been working in wood instead because I can do that like in the garage. So
cool. Well, I have a little sewing.
okay, sure.
Can I show you the sewing stuff and then we'll do your wood stuff?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So that way we can do fiber things and then, because I'm trying to organize the podcast so we do fiber stuff first, so people who are here for fiber stuff can get the fiber stuff and then yeah. Okay, so I made another cat collar. Do you remember that Birds Be Safe cat collar? I made another one because Terry's friend wanted one, and it's in the mail. It looks exactly like the collar from last week, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out the podcast from last week, and you can see my adorable kitty cat modeling the collar.
That poor guy.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
So my partner got a new sleeping bag, and she said it was just a smidge too cold. Like it wasn't quite warm enough. And so she wanted a sleeping bag liner.
Right.
And those can be expensive.
Yeah.
And so I went to YouTube and I was like, sew sleeping bag liner.
Right.
And this YouTube channel comes up. The name is Alaska Granny. And she's like this self-sufficient lady who like just does these random videos. She also has another video of like her favorite things from the Dollar Tree, because I guess they don't have the Dollar Tree where she lives in Alaska. So she was showing the things that she likes to get at the Dollar Tree. Anyway, she also had this video about how to make a sleeping bag liner. And I'm going to show you essentially what the video is. Are you ready? Here we go.
Sure.
So she put the sleeping bag down.
And
then she put a sheet on top of it. And then she's like, you just sew here and here. Ta-da! You have a sleeping bag liner. And I was like, Alaska Granny, you're right. Indeedy-do, all you need is a sheet. Ta-da! So that's exactly what I did.
Cool.
I sewed it along the bottom. So this is clearly one of the bottom sheets.
Yeah.
So it's curling in a little bit. But I just sewed it all the way up there and then halfway sewed it and then it's open at the top. That's
cool.
it.
Very cool.
Sleeping bag liner. Yay! Look, it looks exactly like a sheet. Because it is a sheet.
Those are so helpful because I always sweat in a sleeping bag. It doesn't matter how cold it is outside. Like, and getting a sleeping bag itself cleaned is a pain in the butt. So having a liner is so much easier to take that out and wash.
Right, and that was one of the things that she said. I hit a button. If you saw my face there go like, what's going on? It was because I hit a button and I was like, oh no, did I ruin everything? But I didn't ruin everything. Everything's fine.
Yay.
Yes. That's one of the things about a sleeping bag liner is that they're a lot easier to wash than sleeping bags. Um, and like you said, you can get hot and you can open the sleeping bag up but still be covered with the sheet, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then if it's really hot, you've essentially made yourself a little sleeping bag to sleep in, if it gets really hot. So you can just sleep, you just put this on top of your sleeping bag and sleep in it.
Yeah.
Um,
Way more comfortable.
yeah. So I'm kind of, she was like, will you make me a sleeping bag liner? And I was like, I better do it right now or it'll never happen.
Yeah.
I can't make plans to do these kinds of things. Otherwise they just end up in the plan queue and they never happen. And
Right. I get you.
so, and I had this sheet already laying around, in my fabric bin. So, ta-da!
That's a finished object. That counts.
Oh, it does! It does. I guess I do have a finished object. Yay! And I'm like, I thought it was gonna be harder. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be harder to make a sleeping bag liner, but it was really easy because sheets are the exact size you need. Just fold it in half and sew part of it. Done!
Yep.
Yeah. So I was super happy about getting it done and it fitting because it fit perfect in the...
And discovering a super cute granny blog.
She's pretty cute. So there's also a video where she's reviewing an axe, like a hand axe. I can't remember the brand, but she's like, it's the perfect size and it fits and I can grip it really well. And look, I chopped this branch, she shows this branch that she cut apart. And then she kind of makes fun of herself a little bit because she's like, well, the guy told me that actually they don't come sharp, they come dull. So I have to get it sharpened. So maybe that's why I was having so much trouble with it, Oh, Alaska Granny. So it was pretty cute. It was fun.
That sounds pretty adorable.
Yeah. That is all of my sewing. Oh no, it's not. I have something else that is a plan for sewing. But okay, I've been watching these knitting, YouTube knitting blog podcasty things. And they keep oh, I sewed this from this independent sewing pattern designer, and I sewed this from Gertie's Better Book of Better Sewing Things. Gertie, yes, great person.
I love you, Gertie! If you watch this, we love you!
We love you. I asked for your book for my birthday.
I have her casual, sews vintage casual, and it's super cute.
Yes. So it's been making me want to sew. And then I found this YouTube sewing tutorial kind of channel called With Wendy. And she has a tutorial. Somehow I stumbled upon a tutorial for making a bralette. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I could make my bras. Yes. I was so excited. I hate bra shopping.
Let me tell you the best thing about sewing your own bra. You can sew different cup sizes onto one bra. Wonderful for those of us who have different size boobs, which is everybody.
Which is actually everyone, right?
Right.
Yes. So I'm pretty excited about it. My stumbling block, and the reason I'm not currently making clothing is because I don't have a fabric store that has clothing fabric near me. I have a sewing store. It's quilting, so they have quilting cotton, and they have a lot of great quilting cotton fabrics. But that's not what I need to sew clothing
Yeah.
most of the time. So I know there are lots and lots of places that you can get things online, but I'm very careful about where I put my money when I buy things online. So I'm just still kind of doing some research. And I would much rather buy from an actual person and support an actual person's store rather than a company that sells things on the internet. So
I know a lot of, well, not a lot, but there's at least a few women that design their own fabrics and then get them printed and then sell them on Etsy. I think Gertie's actually done that. Although Gertie is big enough now that places like Joann's carry her stuff, or at least some of it. But she's designed a lot of like rose prints because she's super into them, and then gets them, you know, either made or makes them herself. But that's crazy. And that's a whole nother thing.
Right, but I think that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, I would rather buy from somebody who has designed their own fabric and, you know,
Yeah.
I would rather do that. So I'm still in the process of finding a good source. I know I can go to fabric.com, and honestly, I might just to get started.
Right.
And there's nothing against that. I just think about these things.
Right.
So, you know, when you go on Amazon to buy witch hazel, when you could just go down the street to buy some from a real place, I'm just a little hesitant about where the world is going.
Right.
With all this online shopping.
Yes. Completely.
Anyway, that was a little rambly. You have woodwork.
I do.
I would love to hear about and see your woodwork.
I don't remember if I told you, but the first one, this is the Mach 2 second version that I did. The first one broke because I'm learning how to work with balsa. The end pieces are balsa. So what I'm trying to make is essentially like a spice rack for the wall, but it's holding my tins of tea.
Oh, cool.
So I'm switching over, basically, I've slowly been switching to all Lupicia, which is a brand that I like. They pretty much haven't made any tea that was bad, and I have a lot of their tea. So instead of having it in the cupboard where they're all stacked on each other and I can't quite tell what is what, it just kind of makes it really hard to go through things and decide at a glance what I want. So I'm going to make a rack and hang it on the wall and hang all the tins in there.
That'll look really neat.
Like so. That's the hope. And then, you know, a little earthquake bar so everything doesn't fall off. Earthquake! So, yeah, I've been learning stuff as I go. This isn't attached, so don't think this is, like, the finished project. I was just experimenting with how to make end pieces, and I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to attach it to the wall other than maybe having pegs that it sits on. We'll see. I'm kind of playing with stuff. I'm using these sort of cheaper materials. This is just some crown molding that I had lying around and some bamboo. And I have nicer wood for when I decide what the heck I'm doing. See, look, so pretty.
Ooh, pretty.
Don't know if you can really see the grain on it,
I can see, yeah, some of the striping in it. It looks pretty.
This is Bolivian rosewood.
Ooh.
There we go. Yeah. So I have the nicer stock when I get sort of the mock-up done. I didn't want to spend too much money on sawing and trying stuff out. And I learned a lot from the first piece about where pre-drilling, like stuff I kind of knew already. Like it's better to pre-drill your hole to somewhat close to the size so that the wood doesn't crack, which was especially true for balsa. I tried using little tiny brads to nail the crown molding, and it just cracked along the grain. So I drilled and then stuck the piece through and attached a fastener, just a screw to keep it in place from popping out, and that worked a lot better. But again, it's not really pretty, and look at, you know, like you can see the screws here and here, and this is this is literally just slid on. I mean, you can see the screw that I'm using to just keep the thing in place.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned the proportions a little bit better. Like I thought this would be okay, but I've got, let me give you a side view. I've got the bar that it's resting on tilted so that it tilts towards the wall, so that
Right.
the tins tilt towards the wall.
Right.
But I still want the crossbar up a little bit higher. You know, I'm kind of,
Well, yeah, I mean, you don't want to put it too high, though, or won't they slip through the front?
exactly. Which would be like, boink. So it's kind of just getting the proportions right, you know.
Right.
It'd be nice to not cover up the label itself, you know, so I can actually read what it is. That was the
Yes.
whole point of this. So we'll see. But I also don't want them to hop out in an earthquake.
Are you making this in your industrial shop class?
No, I'm just making this at home, futzing
okay,
around.
fun. Tell us about your industrial shop class, because I think you told me yes, but not on the podcast.
I didn't go to the last one, so nothing new.
Oh, okay.
I'll be going tomorrow.
What is it? So that our
Oh.
show, because they don't know.
Just learning how to use somewhat larger machinery, simple things like drill presses and band saws, and but using those to machine your own parts, essentially, you know, to brainstorm your way out of your own problems.
It sounds like so much fun.
It is. He also has a small 3D printer, so he makes a lot of stuff with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like essentially, he 3D printed replacement parts for his 3D printer so that it turned out higher quality than the one he bought.
Yes.
He replaced like the way that the filament extruder moves. He like replaced the parts so it's like smoother movement.
That's awesome.
But that's exactly what it is. It's teaching you how to like make your own parts for stuff like that, so that you could brainstorm your way out of I don't know, the stuff you can buy direct off the shelf.
Mm.
He does a lot heavier stuff like as his regular job. He's just running a class as a side thing. So
Cool.
yeah, it's pretty fun. Learning all sorts of
No, what?
pretty fun learning all sorts of new stuff.
Yay! That's always fun, learning new crafty things. I mean, I know it wouldn't maybe not considered crafting, but I consider it crafting.
Yeah, it's I think of Grandpa, my maternal grandpa, a lot because he was very do it yourself and fix it if you can, make do and mend.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of that kind of philosophy of they have the maker spaces. That's kind of what it is. It's just larger maker space.
Cool.
So
That sounds really fun.
it is. I'm having a blast
Cool.
when I can make it.
I feel you.
Yeah. Oh, and I talked to the guys at the woodworking shop where I got my rosewood. And I'm going to try some actual shellac on this project. So we'll see how that turns out, because I've never used real shellac, like from an insect shellac before. So
Oh, neat.
I'm excited to see how it comes out.
I don't think I've reused real shellac either. I've used like polyurethane sealer.
Right.
What's the difference?
Shellac sort of yellows over time, but it gives it a sort of the wood a depth. This is from the guys. I don't know. I haven't used it. So this is what they've said. And it's a traditional finish, you know. So if you're working on a say an antique piece or something, and you want to keep your finish closer to original, you could use that.
Cool.
Some people don't like it because of the yellowing. They want the color to stay the same, which is why you wouldn't use it in this application. And at the store, they actually had a couple different tints. like amber, and they have the flakes where you can make your own, but that's a bit much for me. It's because shellac has a shelf life because it's insect based. So essentially, if you don't use it, it goes bad, and you got to get rid of it. So, but it'll be fun because I haven't used anything like that before. So we'll see how it turns out.
I'm interested to hear how it goes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. What?
I think that's what? I know. I just saw that in the corner. I think you're gonna need to show us.
Okay.
Because I want to see.
He's super cute. Oh my gosh, I saw him and I was like I need another pillow. But he was only $5.
He's so cute, though. Seriously, so cute.
Ah, sorry.
So cute.
He makes me totally happy to look at. So I was like, yeah. And then like if I have quality company over, I can just flip it over and voila.
Quality company.
Just kidding. Like I would ever have any quality company.
I was gonna say all of your quality company would totally appreciate that pillow. So it's so pretty and happy and starry-eyed.
Yeah, and I don't have a little pillow. He's pretty small. So it actually works out really good.
Cool.
For like, the little spaces like under your back or something where you just need a little support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's totally cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I have pictures of when I was I was measuring things, and Timber was helping. I can get this in there right.
Oh, yes. He helps you measure.
He's helping.
Pretty cute.
And then this is actually from maybe a week or two ago. The leaves are a lot bigger now, but here's my pumpkin.
Wow.
And one of those leaves has gotten, like, no joke, like this big.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. But the leaves are getting, like...
mildewy looking?
No. Those little trails.
Oh, leaf miner?
What?
The leaf miner? The one that goes between the layers?
Yeah. What are those? How do I stop it?
You can actually look for the insect, like, at the end of the track, there'll be a little dark spot. That's the actual insect. You could poke them out if you really wanted to. Unless they're, like, completely inundated and the plant's dying, I wouldn't really worry about it, because...
Well, like, the oldest leaf is inundated and it looks like it's dying, and, like, the second oldest leaf it's, like, starting to go that same route. I don't know, there's still lots of more leaves. I don't know, I'll keep an eye on it.
Because they're inside the actual plant, they are between the layers of the top and bottom layer of the leaf. They're really hard to deal with just spray insecticides. Like, I think it's systemic ones that you have to use to get rid of them. I can look it up in my pest book, though, to make sure. Okay. I trust that info better than just what I know off the top of my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll look it up for you.
Thanks. Yeah, but that leaf miner, that sounds like what it is. But I'm very careful not to water on the leaves so I don't get mildew.
Okay.
And this is my butternut squash.
Oh, wow, you've gotten long.
There are so many little butternuts on this thing. I need to take some of them off.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna try to make too many and then not do any of them very well.
Yeah.
So, those are the only updated pictures I have.
Also, a reminder, if you want the bottom of your, the fruits to be off the ground, you can build a little platform. Just little slats of wood that it lays on.
Yeah.
That way it doesn't rot on the bottom or get, bleached or whatever.
So cute.
Yeah, they're pretty cute when you see them.
Little bed.
Yes! exactly.
I heard
You can
about, huh?
you can even use mulch. As long as it doesn't get too wet, it performs the same function.
The, um, speaking of cute little things. So you know how, if you're breeding sheep for their wool, like you'll put them in little sweaters. How cute. I actually saw a picture of somebody's flock of sheep with their like sweaters on to protect their fleece.
Yes.
So cute.
So cute.
Just so cute. So here's my confession.
Mm.
I was Rhinebeck, the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, is coming up in
Oh,
like
yeah.
October or something. And so people on the East Coast are all getting ready to go. Like I'm making a Rhinebeck sweater. Like they're making things to wear to Rhinebeck to go, you know.
My people.
So then I look up like California Sheep and Wool Festival. Like there's got to be something over here, you know.
Right.
And there is, but it's like 2 hours north of San Francisco, you know, it's still 7 hours away.
Yeah.
But there pictures of that's where I saw the pictures of some Corriedale sheep
Yeah.
in their little
Pretty-
sweaters.
So adorable.
Yes.
I think that's it for stuff I'm actually working on. All I have is a book left.
Yeah, sure. What are you reading?
I might have talked about it before, but I love it, so I'm going to talk about it again.
Oh, and also I remembered that this title used to be called Take a Look, It's in a Book. So that's the section we're going to do now. I don't know if you've talked about this before.
Okay. It's called Just Enough, Lessons in Living Green from Traditional Japan. It's mostly from the Edo period. By, who is it? Asby Brown, Tuttle Publishing, in case you want your own copy. Super awesome. So it's not just history. It makes it kind of sound like it's, you know, sort of historical minded, and it does have that, but it's mostly just there's a lot of really clever tips and tricks that they did during Edo Japan that really maximized use of natural resources. So he talks about that and then talks about how it applies to modern life, how we can apply those lessons in our communities and individually in our homes and with our families.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool. Let me find some of the stuff. Here's like a graph of building materials and their virtues. So it talks about the availability, what you can actually use them for, whether they're recyclable,
Cool.
the environmental impacts of, both gathering them and like for clay, like what it costs to cure them, because making things out of ceramic requires a lot of wood to fire the ceramics.
Mm.
It talks about like whether it renews itself, and things like clay, again, actually isn't a renewable resource. We haven't really discovered how to make clay.
Right.
We can only, essentially, I wouldn't even call it mining, I guess gathering. But once that resource is gone, what do we do? So it's just thinking about that and thinking about the long-term consequences of, you know, everything that we consume. Even things like building houses. They were talking about how the building materials used to be reusable. They were designed for reusability. So the timbers, everything, like you could break things down and reuse the parts that were still good, even if the house itself was no longer desirable.
Imagine that.
I know, right? And how we really don't do that now.
Mm-hmm. And there's only, I mean, there are people that do that, but the houses aren't built that way. It's just they go to salvage things.
Right, right. And how we should be doing that across the board. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not just, and it's not preachy. That's the good thing about it. Like it's not like finger waggling. It's like even the smallest things that you can do make a difference in the big picture, and just being a little bit more consciously minded about what we're consuming and how we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and reusability. A lot of it's really like, how can we use this throughout all of the process of the life of the object?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can find one here. He talks about our water use, which is really important, about how we're not really using water to the best of our ability. We use a lot of basically potable water when we don't need to, you know? We're using drinking water for a lot of processes that don't need it. And that gets wasted. Let's see if I can find a good picture here. And he talks about like even a small change in, say, I don't know, insulating your home can make a big difference in the amount of energy that you use,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that a lot of people are talking about sort of currently. Uh, People are switching out a lot of windows in old homes to get double paned ones, you know, just so that their electric bills aren't so high when they run the AC or the heating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sort of how all that ties in. Here we go. Here's what happens to a demolished building, and he's got his cute little blowout. It's
Neat.
just pretty adorable. So it's like, where do all these pieces go once we're done with it?
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I really recommend the book. I really can't do it justice, but if you are at all environmentally minded or want to reduce your footprint in even a small way, it's great for getting you to think about sort of the whole cycle of everything that involves being a human being and living. So, especially if you have a family or you own your own house, I would really recommend it.
Cool. Neat book.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that expensive. It's a great read. And if you're historically minded too, it would be a good read. So,
Cool.
yeah.
I think that's all I have.
Yeah, I think that's it for me too.
Okay. Sounds
So,
good.
thanks for joining us, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
And I have plans for casting on more things because I'm getting a little itchy only working on one thing.
I believe it. I am not a monogamous crafter by any stretch.
I know some of those podcast video blogging things that I watch, they're like, yeah, I'm up at 11 whips, and I'm like, 11? I'm at like 3.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, I have to finish some things. I don't do like the multiple things unless things are in timeout. Like those don't
Right.
count.
That doesn't count.
But
It's
like things I'm actually like actively working on. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm very much like Flight of the Bumblebee crafter. Oh, look at that. Let's do that. Oh, look at that.
Fun
Anyway,
fact, I saw somebody play that on the organ with their feet. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Anyway, we're really done this time, I swear.
Bye!
Try my urges for wrinkling things out of the way.
I love you. You sniffing your wood?